Space Marine 2 has been released and it's every bit as exciting as we were hoping it would be. And when I'm enjoying something this much, well, I like to get creative. So join me today as we attempt to take that feeling of swarming terror from the game and recreate it in a diorama. Welcome to the defense of planet Kadaku. On this journey, you can follow the steps of building the diorama and painting the minis, plus I'll chat a little about the setting as well. And speaking of the setting, I kick things off by picturing where in the universe that all of this is taking place. I need to consider that for a display diorama, we will need some angles to see what is going on, so even this early in the build, I'm picturing how this might look in person and for some pretty photos at the end. I plan on using a lot of models, so I think terrain-wise, I don't want it too busy or we might struggle to see what's going on. This is XPF foam and I have a hot wire cutter that I'm using to shape it. Oh, and if you enjoy the terrain piece that I'm using, well, it has come from the team at M3 Studios and it's been custom printed by the awesome duo at Proxy Wargaming. I'll add links below for both companies so you can check them out. Later in the process, I will want to be able to feed some wires through the wooden base, then through the foam diorama all the way up and into the display. Rather than trying to perform this task when the project is completed and risk causing damage, I take the opportunity to create the holes now. Future Mike will love it. I love it. I grab a larger selection of scatter terrain and then organise them in different combinations until I find something that I like the look of. By having a wedge shape like this, it should help us to view what is going on, and this blank space outside of the diorama still gives the sense of our heroes in defense being overwhelmed. And that's what I'm chasing with this diorama. 3 Space Marine super soldiers are acting as the last line of defense for this Imperial fortress on the planet Kadaku. If you like the idea of seeing these projects come to life with works in progress pictures, as well as showing off your own creations and picking up tips and tricks along the way, then our Discord could be the perfect hobby hangout for you. I'll add a link below and you can come and introduce yourself and what you're working on this week. A coat of putty will stop the spray paint from eating the foam, and an uneven smattering of plaster of Paris will help me to blend the scatter terrain in and also create my earth texture. You could let it dry like this, however I wanted to add some sand and cat litter to give this more of a dirt and rubble look to it. Kadaku is a jungle world infested with muddy swamps where the Astra Militarum are attempting to hold off a Tyranid invasion. Imperial fortress outposts are constructed in the clearings but are being overrun by the Xenos swarms. Venture into the rough terrain and if the Tyranids don't eat you, there's a good chance that the native flora and fauna will. Now here are those nasty galaxy-destroying bugs. Hive Fleet Leviathan is the name assigned to this seemingly unstoppable murder machine that are the Tyranids. They traverse solar systems and stop at each planet along the way and consume all life forms. This gathering of biomass fuels and grows the hive. I already collect a Tyranid's army in my own custom scheme, and I've made a whole host of different Tyranid related videos. I'll add some links for them below if you're all about that bug life. This is such an iconic scheme that I'm excited to have in both a light and a dark format. Now I'm no slick lighting pro, but on each new project I like to set myself a challenge to hopefully grow and build my painting skills. So on this particular diorama, my focus is going to be considering the lighting within this environment. The light source for this diorama will be straight down the center of the base, so picture it casting from in here and outwards in these directions. Bugs on bugs on bugs is the feeling I want to achieve here. I'm trying to create a sense of helplessness. I want them in close, displaying their sharp claws and looking like that in a split second they will be on top of the defenders. There are so many different kinds of Tyranids, and what I love about them is that they are constantly learning and evolving. Imagine facing these hordes, and even if you fend off the waves, they suddenly reappear with another offensive, but now they look different. They learnt from how you beat them, and they've evolved their appearance and weaponry to exploit your weaknesses. Von Ryan's Leapers are expected to have developed from Gaunts and have become the ultimate ambush predator. Swift, agile, and utterly lethal. When the time is right, they emerge to eviscerate their enemies. As ambush predators, they have much in common with lictors, but rather than being solitary hunters, they are instead pack hunters. This Leaper was creeping up on the position, but had its location compromised by a sudden burst of light, and now is at the point of commitment to attack its foe. Our smaller bugs are Neurogaunts. They serve as crucial relays for the synaptic network, which is the signal from the hive dictating the behaviour. They are capable of swarming foes and will make for a perfect complement of claws and teeth that I'd expect to see in a wave attacking this defensive position. Now it would take some individuals with unmatched resolve to face these great devourers, and these individuals would need to know no fear.
Brothers, we have sent you on this mission because 3 complete morons died instantly just before.
I reckon we should probably make his day. Let's have him pose for a photo with us. You're welcome, buddy.
Space Marines are the Emperor's finest. They are genetically mutated super soldiers built for intense combat. Marines train and specialise in various forms of combat discipline, and the game shines in allowing you to pick up and play as your favourite style. I've picked 3 separate types of Marines for this encounter that each have a very different playstyle but will complement one another in a moment like this. Surely distance and rate of fire are the answer. Maybe, but often there's nothing quite like meeting your foe face to face. Pick out the biggest, baddest synaptic leader in front of you and launch your jetpack. This Marine represents Gordon's playstyle, calculated but violent. Long-range precision, finesse, and damage output. Eliminators haunt the shadows of the battlefield and utilise their active camouflage cloaks to avoid detection. This Marine represents Dingle's playstyle, calculated but timid, like a jellyfish. To remain protected, he's going to need support from someone obnoxious. You guessed it, I'm that guy, the liability. Who would have thought that the starved for attention B-grade content creator would be the one to flock to the brightest and loudest weaponry? A Marine with a flamer, enough said. Blue. Marines come in different colours and have their own unique traits that make them special. Each force is referred to as a chapter, and our story in the game has the Ultramarines as our protagonists. They are probably the most popular army in Warhammer 40k, but I've only ever painted one Ultramarines model because I'm edgy and cool like that. I'm trying to keep the momentum going during this video, but if you end up liking the look of these Ultramarines and would like a detailed step-by-step tutorial video on how I paint them, you'd best let me know below in the comments, and I could edit one together with the extra footage and some more explanations over the top. Blue is undeniably fun to paint, and whilst I'll be using an airbrush for the first couple of coats, everything can be completed by brush, which I generally do in most of my videos, and hold on tight because that was a pretty slick segue. When I watch content creators that I enjoy within this hobby, I like to use the same tools as them so that I can hopefully recreate the results that they're getting. People ask me what brushes I use, and for over 5 years I've been using Rosemary & Co, so it makes sense that I'd partner with them now. If you'd like to get your hands on the high quality and affordable brushes that I use, it's as simple as following the link that I've put in the video description, and I'll add there the name and type of brushes that I've been using. The added bonus is that this is an affiliate link, meaning that any purchase that you make also financially supports the channel at no extra cost to you. Our squad of Marines have been defending various strongholds on this planet and haven't had an opportunity to repair their armor yet. So I'm representing the damage they will have sustained, with parts of their power armor paint being chipped away. I'm using a sponge to dab onto areas that would have been crashing against terrain or used to deflect attacks, and then I come back in with a light highlight underneath to give the chips a 3D look to them. Our flamer needs to be hot, so I'm going to paint a heat effect across the metallic. I start with a brown wash just to fill in the recess areas and bring out that depth detail. Then I'm highlighting with a bright brass, but now we get to introduce the fun colours. Thinning down a purple and glazing this across the flamer. My goal here is to have these colour effects stronger at the end where the flame is emitted. To do this, I have my first coat cover 50% of the weapon, then once dry, my second coat covers 1/3, then my third coat, well, you get it. This gradient transition means that the purple will become brighter and stronger at the business end. After purple comes dark blue, and this is the last millimetre or two, and after a coat or two as a glaze, this will look dark, almost black, but with a bit more character. How simple is that for a fast and effective way to add a heat effect to your weapons? It also looks great over gun metals, and you can add a yellow and an orange transition before the purple even starts, because that looks great over silver. The world, the invading bugs, the heroes. All that is left to add is the atmosphere. Now I want to go searching for those 1% additions that can really make this feel immersive and cinematic. This will be the moment of complete carnage. Our infiltrator is losing his stealth as he opens fire, and our close combat jump pack intercessor's target identification heads-up display just became obscured because our Infernus Marine here is unleashing a torrent of flame from the centre of their position. To my gaming mates Gordon and Dingles, I can't imagine how difficult it is gaming alongside me, being distracted. Distracted by greatness.
Hold up a sec. I reckon I'm half a chance to hit old mate over there on the head with this.
Now I mentioned that I want the flamethrower to be the almighty source of light in the middle of our diorama, so I need to go about making the flame. I've made some similar smoke effects in the past, but I need to make sure this looks cool. So I researched some techniques and I love what I saw in Eric's hobby workshop. And I'll add a link below that will take you to his video guide because it's fantastic. I've taken handfuls of cotton balls and dipped them in a mixture of yellow contrast paint and water, then squeezed them out and begun pulling them back apart to help the drying process. I steal my wife's hairdryer to speed up the process, and once they are dry, I can start to tease them out a little to return them to their shape of fluffy yellow custard clouds. I was so proud of myself for wiring and soldering my first LED, but I quickly realised that it wasn't going to be bright enough for what I had in mind. So, for a dollary do or two, I pick up this LED noodle rope looking thing already wired. Wrapping this around some card that should be strong enough to hold it, and this could work. I think you see what I'm up to. I want to absolutely cover this cone in the yellow cotton balls. I'm using PVA glue to stick them in place, and I pull them apart and cross them over one another in an attempt to make the flame look more billowing and less like a fluffy cloud. Once dried, it's over to the airbrush to make this look more menacing and realistic. I spray a red, a darker red, and then ultimately a black, one after the other, with the darkest colours being towards the end of the flame. Why? Because when I Google flamethrowers, that's what it looks like, so I figure that's what we're used to seeing. Whilst I have the airbrush out, I'll add a quick cheeky glow to our Eliminator's active camo cloak. Now that he's shooting, the cloak is failing, and the green glow can be the line moving up the cloak as it returns from a dirt and rubble appearance to his standard brown cloak. We are about to see how the diorama turned out, but first, we're going to check out these amazing people who are each a member of the channel Patreon. And to give you an idea of just how amazing each of these people are, they've assured me as a collective that if ever we found ourselves embroiled in a violent defense of the planet Kadaku, that they would equip me with a bell tied around my neck to attract Tyranids. What the? Friends! Here is how our Space Marine 2 Electric Boogaloo Defense of Planet Kadaku diorama has turned out. So what did you think? You should totally let me know down below in the comments. And while you're there, my challenge for you this week with your comment is to tell me which character class you are enjoying playing as the most in Space Marine 2 and why. Are you violent but calculated like Gordon? Are you a long-range jellyfish like DeJingles? Or are you frustratingly obnoxious like yours truly? Either way, let me know, I can't wait to read them. And until then, I should probably get started on my next video, and I can't wait to see you there.